Today we're going to be breaking down why designing for aesthetics only is going to keep you broke and how you can actually go about avoiding this. This is actually something I used to struggle with for a long time, and I feel like I've really learned some good tools to actually get out of that only designing for something to make it look cool to designing stuff that actually helps people and grows your business. There's a few things that I want to cover to make sure that we're on the right track. The first thing is that aesthetic designers don't solve problems for clients. And clients is your lifeline. Without clients, you will die. And if you can't solve their problems, you're going to starve. The first thing is that aesthetic designers don't solve problems for clients, and clients are your life source. If you can't get clients to give you money, you're probably going to end up starving. If you're currently scared about showing off your work because you have no idea how to rationalize it, how to actually say what you've been up to, then that's going to be a massive reason why you continue to not see progress in your business. And finally, the last thing is, if you only ever create work that looks cool, that doesn't actually solve a problem, it's not going to grow your business, and there is ways around it. So having your own business or being a freelancer is all about solving problems for people. So if you think about normal businesses, the idea of a business and the idea of someone giving you money is only because you've solved a problem for them. Let's think about this in normal businesses that aren't creatives or aren't designers. Supermarkets, for example, they give you food, they solve the issue of you being hungry. You don't have to go and farm and hunt your own animals. Easy problem solved, right? Builders, they build you a house so you have shelter over your head so you can sleep at night. Very straightforward problem solving. And doctors, for example, you feel sick, you break your leg, whatever it is, you go in, they make you better. It's a simple problem solved. The same thing goes with being a creative or being a designer, is you have to solve a problem for someone, because being just someone who makes stuff look cool is not going to be something that actually gets you a long way, because no one's going to be willing to give you money. Why? Think about it. Would you trade your money for something that just looks cool? Completely different if we're talking about art. This has nothing to do with art, so do keep that in mind. If we think about other creative services that help businesses, copywriters, for example. A copywriter writes website copy that converts for businesses. So a business will pay a copywriter to write copy on their website, and then in turn, that website is going to make them money back because the copy persuades the customer to buy the thing. It's a simple, straightforward. You can rationalize it. The person who is paying the copywriter, the business, can rationalize why they would actually spend money with them. Or if you look at a video editor, I spend so much time editing videos. The amount of time I spend on editing videos where I could be making more videos, or I could be doing more work, or advertising, or strategizing, or making new products, or whatever it is, if I spend that money to get someone to do my editing for me, I'm going to save a fuck ton of time, and therefore I'm going to be able to make more money in other areas. It's a simple exchange of money for time. It's an easy sell. And finally, if you think about a brand designer, if you hire a brand designer as a business, they're not just making something that looks cool. You're like, oh, look at this nice little logo. That's not how it works. As a brand designer, you're helping build equity for that brand. You're helping them build trust and positioning and recognizability and memorability. So it's not as simple as making something aesthetic, because I would never pay a brand designer, to just make something that looks cool for me, because that's not going to actually help my business make money and help me become more successful as a business. So you really have to be careful of that. Everything you do as a freelancer, as a creative, as a designer, needs to help solve a problem. So before you do anything else, think, is someone going to be sitting there and think, fuck, this is a problem, I need a solution, and then you have to be the solution so they pay you. It's pretty straightforward. And as I did say earlier, making stuff is fun, but make stuff as art on the side, because sometimes you got to separate the two. And I do this all the time. I got all these posters and stuff on the wall that I just have fun making, but they're not solving problems for people. So you have to juggle the line of what is solving a problem and what is just for fun for you. And it is easier just to separate it. Looking a bit deeper into the issue of why maybe you're scared to show off some of your work, because you just actually have no idea why you've done it. And this was a massive thing that I used to do. when I was a younger kid. I used to work as an in-house designer for like a hospitality startup. And I remember I would make lots of cool designs and make heaps of logos for these cafes we opened. And when it came to the time where I had to like rationalize them or explain them to my bosses, I just could never do it. They'd be like, oh, so why did you do this? I'd be like, oh, it looked cool. I liked the colors. Like, none of that actually solves the problem. If I went deeper into why I've done what I've done, they would have just been on board every time. Like, let's say this is going to be a silly example, but let's say you're doing like an ice cream store and you're like, oh, I've chosen blue because blue's cold like ice, and I've called it creamy because ice cream, If you have rationale and you have some strategy behind what you're actually doing, it's going to be so much easier to justify that to a client or justify that to someone who is paying you. Whereas you're just like, oh, look, this looks cool, right, guys? No one cares. I'm sorry, no one cares. The only people that think stuff looks cool is probably you, other designers or other creatives might think it looks cool and they're not going to pay you, and artists, people that go to art galleries. So you have to be careful who you're actually targeting. On top of the targeting, when you create things, you should think about these 3 components. The first one is, who is your target audience? Who is your target customer? You need to understand their problems, understand what the solution they need is, and you need to be that. You need to be this no-brainer. Obviously, I'm going to go with you guys. You're going to solve my problem. Like this burning desire I need solved, and you have to be that thing. And on top of that, what are they trying to achieve? You have to be able to do that thing they're trying to achieve. That thing they're trying to achieve is the problem or the desire. I know it sounds a bit metaphoric, but everyone has a specific problem. Businesses have massive problems. Clients, people, they have problems. You just have to be that thing that solves them. And to get in the habit of being able to solve problems and understand the strategy or the rationale that goes behind what you're doing, you should just practice doing it. So when you create something, think, why did I create this? Or even better, which is definitely what I would recommend you doing, is strategize first. You're going to create a fake brand that you're going to put on social media. Think about who that target audience is. Let's say it's a yoga brand. Think about what the strategy is behind that, why a yoga brand would come to you and want that exact thing from you. And then work forwards from there. If you try and rationalize it after, a lot of the time you just make up shit and no one's willing to pay for that. I'm just sorry. At the end of the day, you don't want it to be the limiting factor for you to show off your work because you're scared someone's going to ask you what it actually means. Don't just think about making it look cool. Think about the role it's going to play for someone and how it's going to help someone. The last thing that I find really important is being aesthetic, being cool, making stuff that only looks good is not going to grow your business. It is so much more about the systems, the offers, and letting people know what you actually do than just making stuff look cool for the sake of it. You might have heard these words before: systems, offers, advertising, but what do they actually mean? A system is just something that you repeat over and over. Rather than just worrying about only trying to make designs that look cool, think about how can I work with a client or advertise, get a client, work with a client over and over. How can I streamline that and make it as simple as possible? If you do that, that's going to be the thing that grows your business. And like, you don't want to be stuck just making like $200 logos over and over again. You want to be able to do like $10,000 branding projects and then do another one and then get them to refer another one and then get all these people coming in and you'll be able to scale your business. You don't just want to sit there doing the same shit over and over because all you care about is making the stuff look cool. Like, you're better than that. And the offer is, what are you selling? You don't want to just be, I sell logos. I'm the person that makes logos, I sell logos. No one gives a fuck. It's 2025, wake up. You need to be someone that creates a brand that's unforgettable. You might have a $2,000 website landing page kit where you create a page for someone. They're ready to go, they're straight, ready to go to market. Or you might do social media audits for people where you have action steps on how they can achieve that. You can't just be generic or boring. Think about what's something people want, find that problem, and then create something that is appealing to that problem. If someone needs a brand, like, what are you going to do? Are you just going to make them a logo? You're going to make them a brand that stands out. Think about it. Actually make something that people want. And the final thing is letting people know what you do. In other words, this is just advertising and marketing. And you don't want to be too afraid to put yourself out there and get people to know what you do. If you never advertise, you never tell people because you think oh, I'm just cool. If I just create cool designs, people will come to me. You're fucking wrong, buddy. You need to show people that you can solve their problems. And I know I harp on about it, but that's all business is. It's solving the problem over and over again. And you need to be able to get attention on you so that people know you can solve their problems. You need to be a bit obnoxious sometimes and like tell people, hey, I create brands that people don't forget. Do you want to work with me? And this is something I see designers do a lot. Don't just post one little poster that you've designed that has no meaning just because you think it looks cool. Like, I'm sorry, no one's gonna be like, oh, hey, Timmy, can I please have a brand? Your lifeless, personalityless poster is exactly what I want. Grow up. You need to actually solve a problem. And when you do it, think about the problems they have, think about what you can do to help them, and follow that. It's a problem solution game, especially in designing and being a freelancer and having your own business or a studio. It's all about having their problem, your solution. Just think about it really simply. At the end of the day, if there's one piece of advice I would leave you to make sure you don't stay a broke aesthetic designer, is that you need to get really good at solving problems. If you get so good at solving people's problems, your success will be inevitable. In 5 years down the track, do you really want to be looking back and thinking, fuck, I wish I actually cared about helping people rather than just trying to make posters for the sake of it? Everyone needs help. Everyone's got a problem they need solved. If you asked every single person you saw in the street, hey, what's your biggest problem right now? And they give you something, there is a business for it. Make it simple. Don't just design for aesthetics. Don't just think about looking cool all the time. Have a backbone, have some strategy, and I promise you that you're not going to stay broke, okay? If you focus on solving problems, you don't be too scared to show off your work because you know what you're doing, and you have systems, you have an offer, and you advertise, you're going to win. Just stick at it. Never give up. That's all you got to do. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. I've got more coming, and I'll see you next time.